Hi, it's Wasabi. Welcome back to the channel. This is one of the last tank reviews for the tanks that were released in the Halloween event. It's the JagdTiger prototype. So it's a Tier 8 German TD, but it is a JagdTiger. So rather than going through all the characteristics here, we'll go into the comparison tool and compare it to the Tier 9 JagdTiger, the JagdTiger 88, the Ferdinand, and the Jagdpanther 2, just to show you the similarities and the differences. And then we will show some gameplay of the JagdTiger prototype and give you a view of whether it's worth looking for. All right, so let's go to the comparison tool. So we've got the JagdTiger prototype, the Tier 9, the JagdTiger 88, the other premium one, the Jagdpanther 2 and Ferdinand, which are both tech tree vehicles. Now I've configured the Jagdpanther 2 and the Ferdinand for their top guns and engines, etc. But obviously the premium ones you can't change, and I've left the JagdTiger as stock because I want to make a comparison there. So let's have a look at it first. So let's look at the base characteristic of the gun. Of course, it's the 128mm gun. So 490 average damage and 246 standard pen, and the premium round, I think there's 311 pen, but it's the identical gun to the JagdTiger Tier 9. That's not the only point of similarity, and we'll get to that in a second, but it's also the same gun that is the top gun on the Jagdpanther 2 and the Ferdinand, so no difference in terms of alpha and penetration capability. The key difference there is really just the reload time, so the rate of fire is the lowest of the lot, which means it's got the lowest DPM. So if we have a look at the DPM figures down here, 2359 is the lowest of the three of the group, but it's not shabby. 2359 is pretty reasonable DPM, and of course this is without any sort of extra benefits you get from crew or food or modules, etc. So obviously it can be lifted up, but just to give you the comparison point, none of these have got crew, or rammers or anything like that as well, so it's just a straight comparison. What else can we tell you about the gun? Everything else is roughly the same as the JagdTiger Tier 9, so the same gun depression, -7.5, slightly better than the JagdTiger 88, of course. Now, one key difference between this and the JagdTiger 88 is the JagdTiger 88 has got preferential matchmaking, so it won't see Tier 10s. But it needs that because its penetration basically sucks. So 2112 is the standard, and I think 248 is the premium round for the JagdTiger 88, so it really needs that preferential matchmaking to make the use of it. But other than that, if we have a look at down at armor, all the hit points vary. Across the top, it's better than the JagdTiger 88 slightly. It's certainly better than the other two tech tree Tier 8 German casemate TDs. But you can see the armor lat is identical to the JagdTiger, which is the same as the JagdTiger 88, so the same body shell basically, which means the same strengths and weaknesses as the JagdTiger. And if we just go a bit further down, mobility terms, we got another difference here. So it's got a slightly more powerful engine. It's the same engines basically in the 88, so you get, but it is a heavier tank because it's got the same gun as the JagdTiger, whereas the 88, of course, is a smaller gun, so it's a slightly lighter vehicle, which means it gets a slightly better specific power, meaning it's slightly more mobile, but it's all a matter of minor differences. But you compare it to the Jagdpanther 2 and the Ferdinand, they're both much more maneuverable in that sense compared to the JagdTigers. But the JagdTigers effectively then all the same, so 38 kilometers per hour top speed, 12 reverse speed, although the 88's got 16 reverse, which is pretty handy. And then traverse speed is the slowest of all of them. But again, that's obviously something you can improve. But we'll have a look at the gameplay in a little while and see if that really makes a practical difference. All right, for concealment, it's pretty much the same. All the JagdTigers, very tall vehicles, so no real differences there. And in fact, all of the German casemate TDs are all very similar there in terms of concealment, i.e. nothing very special. And view range, it's sort of in the middle there, 370 versus 390 on the two other JagdTigers, but you can see the other two casemate TD's 360 and 370, so no great differences there really. So it's sort of put in the middle of the pack in that sense. But I think overall, what you're really getting out of this is the benefits of the JagdTiger stock tier 9, but playing sometimes in tier 8 games, sometimes against lower tiers, and we'll have a look in the gameplay again at that. And then sometimes you get into tier 9, tier 10 battles, but you've got the not just the alpha, but the penetration capability to play in the upper tiers as well. All right, so let's go and have a look at the gameplay, and we'll comment at the end of that about what we see as the future of this particular vehicle. All right, we're on the Tundra map with Whippet, and he's got improved aiming, rammer, and turbo Bond versions, I think, loaded. Yeah, Whippet's a 9k PR player, not currently in the clan, but the replay. So it's going to be pretty aggressive with this TD, but we'll see how he plays it and positions he takes to give you an idea of how to handle the tank in this various situations. Now you can see on each team's actually got some JagdTiger prototypes. There's 2 on Whippet's team and 3 on the enemy team. It's an all tier 8 battle too, so probably the best matchmaking, which means yeah, opportunity to get a good result. But at the end of the game, we'll look at the stats of the whole team, including the other JagdTiger prototypes, just to see what sort of different results you'll get. We'll also look at the economics of it. It's got a lovely skin on this JagdTiger, really suits it. So taking up this position here on the heavy line gives him protection to his lower front plate. Now, because that's one of the weaknesses of the German vehicles, is that if you penetrate lower front plate, you're also damaging the transmission, which is part of the engine, so it will disable your tank to a large extent. Alright, so how accurate the gun is. That's a good shot, went in through the commander's hatch there, or the cupola. And you can see he's got a mixture of standard and premium ammo. Then he's firing his standard rounds at this point, so we know 264 pen. Now this is Udani. Now is he going to change his loadout for that tank? We'll see. But so I got some other. I think the Skoda there, just not quite coming far enough. No, here he is again. So I'll go through the top. No, that shot didn't seem to connect. Go again, and over the top, and there he goes again, gets through the roof for the cupola. And so far, hasn't taken any hits himself, mainly just from the positioning as the tank out to his left, which is probably keeping them at bay a little bit. Now he's coming a bit here, and he's exposing himself to get this next shot, and you can see yes, it's taken a hit through his lower front plate, and has damaged his engine. So he'll need to repair that, which he has. Just pushing up to this next vantage point where he can take another hold down position, essentially. Let's see if he can get it. He's only got 10 degrees of gun traverse. So there he goes through the JagdTiger prototype on the other side. He's using his premium rounds now. Just looking for his targets. Gets another shot through the top plate there, so he's using his full penetration there. There's 250mm of armour at the top, and he's taken another shot through his own armour, so basically getting the favour return, and that's actually damaged his ammo rack, so we'll have to look at that another 30-something seconds. He's used his repair kit, so he's on cooldown, so can't talk a lot about that. Again, I was talking about the gun traverse. There's only 10 degrees on each side, so it's fairly limited, but enough for these positions here. So again, you don't want to be out in the open field, not unless you've got some side protection, and that's what he's really getting in these positions. And it takes out the enemy JagdTiger prototype. He's still got his ammo rack, but only another few seconds. Yeah, I've got a T-77, this is sort of a tier 8 version of the T-57, the tier 10 US heavy tank. let's see. Yeah, so just holding back. So good concept here. Again, it's support TV, so it's not necessarily a brawling one, but if he knows he's fired and he's used his click, he can definitely go up against him. He's taking a bit of risk here, exposing his side, potentially the tanks pushing around. But, they've managed to turn the turret of the T-77. He's gone through the side, no dramas. He's still got his premium mans loaded, just to make sure that if he gets confronted by the Udani, then he can go through it. And it's not quite in position to shoot the T-77 again. And he goes front sprocket, just comes around enough and he gets a shot through there. It's taken the T-77 down to one shot. And he can't really come out far enough because of the dead JagdTiger there to push on to whip it. And I'm sure he'll put the killing shot in here when he gets the chance. Yep, there he goes. Alright, so that is 2 kills there to whip it, and they've got an Udani in front of them, and as you'll have seen from my Udani video, it's got a fairly complex frontal armour, but there are no weak spots on it, but it's a case of can you focus on those smaller parts of the armour to penetrate, or will you go for the higher pen and go through the top plate. So that's the choice he's got to switch back to standard rounds. And the Udani has sort of disappeared for the moment. Okay, so we're sitting on 4k of damage, so he's already done a fair chunk of damage, particularly in this particular context of a tier 8 game. There's still a few tanks to go through, including still one JagdTiger prototype. He's already got 1 kill, so we know he's been in the action. And a few other tanks there, the Udani's the other one he knows, and if there's Udani, oh, he's going in the opposite direction, so he puts a nice shot there through the rear. No problem whatsoever, leaves him one shotable. Now, but doesn't have much support at the moment, he's sort of losing the tanks around him, so he's just making decisions to go further back, but looks like Tiger 2's going to go and support the check TD there, the PDK TVP. His team is cleaning up the other side of the map, so it's pretty much all on him at this point on this side. Depending on what else is found, the Udani sort of running away and he is one shot, so he's going to be a bit more circumspect. There's still the JagdTiger prototype that hasn't been seen, I don't think. No, that's right, the icon against him is greyed out, so no one has spotted that TD yet. So we're just collecting these bullets here, and the APA MX-30 has been spotted. He's pushing in on the Tiger 2. And here we go, there's the Udani. Now, talking about gun handling, so that's the gun while the tank is on the move. Didn't really seem to land a shot, so that's not necessarily a good sign. Certainly in an aimed position, I'd say we're going to get a fair bit out of this one. You can see the base dispersion was about 0.34, so getting that down to 0.31. And here we go, he's got the Udani in front of him. He's got his premium round loaded, no problems going through the front there. But he did take a hit from the Udani. That's taken him down to 1 shot. And luckily he didn't lose his engine this time. And there he's got the potential to get the APM MX-30, who looks like he's trying to circle the Tiger 2, and he gets a nice side shot in on him and takes him out. So he's keeping his premium rounds loaded. There is basically a full health JagdTiger prototype in front of him, and on a one-on-one he's going to lose out because he just doesn't have hit points to keep him at bay, and he's pushing in on him. So yeah, might get 1 more shot potentially. Is he going to be reloaded in time? Not quite. No, and he gets taken out. So it's a bit unfortunate, but he's already done a fair chunk of damage there, 5.6k, but he has also blocked 2.2, so getting good performance out of his tank. I think at this point we know the game's won. Let's go and look at the results. I just want to show you the results from Whippet's game. Of course, he did a massive amount of damage there, getting the high caliber award, but really want to, and of course the Ace Tanker Mastery badge there. Let's have a look at the overall performance. So he's done 1633 base experience, but where did the other JagdTiger Protos come in. So we've got another one here that's done 15-15. So average performance, we'd say, reasonable amount of EXP. Was there another one? I think there might have just been 2 on that particular team. And what about the other team? So I know one stayed to the end there. That was Postman Pat in the JagdTiger doing just over 3K. So pretty excellent performance there also. And another one doing 14.59. So you can see a range of experiences there with the JagdTigers, both sort of highs and lows, but obviously Whippet being a top level player has managed to extract the most out of his particular tank, and also the positioning and the way that the enemy reacted as well, but he's got the most out of that. Any other standouts we can see? Basically no. So what about the Udanis? That's another interesting one. So we've got one here doing 14.40, and on the enemy team, the one that he was up against, really not doing well at all. So probably not necessarily in the hands of good players. Oh, look, there's another JagdTiger prototype just doing over 1,000. So it's really 2 shots of damage there. So not a great result. But in any case, it gives you an idea of the overall spread of capability. And so let's have a look at the economics here. So Whippet managed to fire 16 shots, which is really good output with a relatively slow loading gun, 14 hits, and all of those penetrated. So great use of his ammunition as well. And he spent 46k in his ammo, had some on consumables, ended up making 75k. So pretty decent output there. So a great game from Whippet. All right, so what do we think about this particular tank? Well, I think obviously you need to be into your German heavy tank destroyers and the casemate ones in particular. If you're not a good casemate player, then it's probably not the tank for you anyway. If you've already gone up the JagdTiger line and you're going up the JagdTiger 9, tier 9 and above, then this is probably going to be a good crew trainer as well. So think about it from that perspective as well. So if you really like the JagdTigers and the JagdTiger 88 doesn't quite do it for you in terms of its ability to perform in higher tier games, then this might be a choice that you look at. In any case, you can only really get it in loot boxes at the moment, but I suggest don't. If this is the only tank you're missing, it's probably not worth going after. But when it comes out in the premium shop, yeah, you might consider it if the casemate TDs and the German line in particular are your go. Anyway, hope you liked the video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please consider doing that. We'll have more great content to follow. Thanks very much for watching.